Hi guys, I'm Rylan Clark-Neal and welcome to another episode of I Plant Believe It. And today I hope you've got a sweet tooth because we're making a stunning coconut sponge cake, but with a little difference because I'm going to be using FLORA Plant. Now this cooks, fries and bakes just as good as a dairy butter. What I'm going to be doing is making two dishes, one with FLORA Plant and one with a regular dairy butter. And we're going to put it to the test to see if it tastes any different. So I've welcomed food writer Melissa to the party. Melissa, get yourself in here. How are you, babe?
I'm good, how are you?
I'm very well indeed. Now Melissa, how long have you been food writing?
About 6 years.
So you know food pretty well.
I've got a pretty discerning palate.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
So you'd be able to taste the difference, wouldn't you?
I reckon.
But there's no way I'm going to let you watch me cook. So Melissa, go and chill out and I'll give you a shout when I need you. How's that sound?
You're on.
We're going to be making the tea time coconut cake today. For this, you're going to need the following ingredients. 150 grams of FLORA Plant unsalted, 200 grams of caster sugar, 150 grams of coconut dairy-free yogurt, 150 millilitres of soya milk, 300 grams of self-raising sponge flour, 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder, and 50 grams of desiccated coconut. And for the filling, 100 grams of FLORA Plant unsalted, 200 grams of icing sugar, 1 tablespoon of coconut dairy-free yogurt, 3 tablespoons of raspberry jam, and 30 grams of desiccated coconut. So take your FLORA Plant and pop that in your bowl. Then grab your caster sugar and pop that in too. Now this is the fun bit, and this is where it could get messy. Take your electric whisker, pop your whisk in, low setting, and start mixing that together. Then you can turn it up as you go along. There we go. Right, now you've creamed your butter and sugar together, and believe me, that does look creamy. We're going to add in the dairy-free coconut yogurt. We're going to chuck in the desiccated coconut. I like to use a spatula and just mix that all around. Now don't be frightened to get really stuck in here. Don't stress if it looks like it's starting to split, because once you put the flour in, it's going to bring it all back together. Now this is the point where you add in the flour and the soya milk. So take your flour, pop about 1/3 to half of it in, and grab some of your soya milk and pop some of that in as well. Now keep that nice and light, and we're just going to mix that round. Now when that starts to come together, add some more of the flour. And a little bit more of the soya milk. Now as you can see, that's starting to become more like a batter. Because we've got flour and soya milk left and we want to use all of that, this is the point where I like to put in the baking powder. Add the rest of the flour and the rest of the soya milk. And give that a good fold. Right, now that's all mixed together, I've lined 2 baking tins with some baking parchment, and we're just going to split the mix, half in this one and half in that one. You get all of that out of there as well. So now all you need to do is take these and pop them in the oven. Now if you're using a fan assisted oven, do it at 160 and pop it in for 25 minutes. Now with FLORA Plant, just by switching to that from a regular butter, you're actually reducing your climate impact by 50%, and it's made from all natural ingredients. So that's a double winner. Right, now the cakes are out of the oven, make sure you leave them to cool completely. But whilst you're doing that, you can make the fun stuff. So, to make the buttercream that goes inside and on top, because we're going fancy, grab yourself some icing sugar and pop it into a bowl. Then grab your unsalted FLORA Plant and chuck that in too. Now, grab a spatula and try and push that FLORA Plant down into the icing sugar. Grab your electric whisk and remember, lowest setting first. So there you go, it's starting to turn. And just like that, your icing starts to come together. That looks good to me. Now, we add the dairy-free coconut yogurt. Now, there's no need to whisk this part. Just grab your spatula from before, mix it in. That is looking and smelling good. That's great. Now we've got our cakes from earlier. Take one of them, pop it down in front of you. Take half the icing, blob it on the centre, and then just smooth that round. Now you can use a palette knife if you want to be really fancy, but there's nothing fancy about me. Now I've just got some raspberry jam. One, because it gives a really lovely colour to the cake, but two, the raspberry and the coconut really work well together. So you just want to take a little tablespoon and just drizzle some blobs of the jam in the centre. Now we take your second cake, pop that on top, take the rest of the icing and decorate the top. Now try and get as much of that icing out of the bowl and onto the cake. Don't worry too much if you don't, you can save that bit for later. Take a palette knife and a spoon and just move this around the top of the cake. Start from the centre and work your way out and round. Take your desiccated coconut and sprinkle over the top. Grab some raspberries and pop them in the centre of the cake. And there it is, your dairy-free coconut sponge cake. So you've got two lovely slices of cake. I want to see if you can tell the difference.
All right.
Just grab the fork and get it stuck in.
They look amazing.
Thank you, I'm very good.
Good sponge.
Thank you, babe.
Okay.
Okay. What did you think?
They're both pretty identical.
Really?
They're both really good. Yeah. The texture's bang on in both of them. If I had to say one
Go on.
was FLORA Plant, I would go for, I think that one.
Why?
Just because there's something, I mean, they're pretty much identical, but there's a minuscule difference between them, and it's hard to put it into words, but I'd say it was that one.
You'd say it was that one? She is good at her job. That was the FLORA Plant
No
cake.
way.
It was.
No way.
I'm surprised you got that.
I mean, there's nothing in it. They're both incredible. The texture is like, I'm really surprised that that's a plant-based butter alternative.
So am I. I mean, I find it strange as well because I'm not vegan, I'm not vegetarian, and I'm getting into the plant-based movement. And the way that the sponge comes out, the way that the icing's cut, I just absolutely love it. But it just surprises me how similar it tastes to a dairy butter that you would get. Would you use it?
Oh, absolutely. Bang on. I'm really impressed. Genuinely impressed.
Well, Melissa, thank you so much for coming today. It's been an absolute pleasure to meet you. And if you want, I mean, by all means, finish off the cake because it seemed like you enjoy it.
All right.
Oh, you're taking both, right? Oh, yeah, she's gone. She is out of here. So why don't you guys try FLORA Plant for yourselves and get in touch and show us your creations. I'm going straight in for this.